we came to Finland as two people, wife and husband. I used to get the university contract as 6 months, 1 year, 6 months, 1 year. That used to irritate me. If this is the kind of uncertainty a scientist has to face at a university, it doesn't help us to plan for a long term. I left my job in 2016 December, and the bank gave me 10,000 euros. So I have fixed my mind that okay, this is the amount of money I will be risking. It's not just about money, or it's not just about the tasks you do, but the kind of independence, the kind of freedom. 10 years ago, having a customer portal with mobile apps was not a common thing. If somebody has a mobile app, they don't have a customer portal. If somebody has a customer portal, they don't have a mobile app. WhatsApp has come into picture, and nobody was in a mood to pay.
It's almost 10 years since the first time we got in touch. So now you already have decent experience in VoIP business. You're a VoIP business owner, and it will be interesting to hear your story, how you got started, what challenges your business experienced, in general, what is your vision with this business, and so on. So let's start from the beginning. In 2015, you reached out to us, and back then you were, I think, a simple VoIP user. You used Dellmont and Skype, right?
Yes.
So what has encouraged you in general to consider starting your own VoIP business?
So in 2015, I was working in the University of Turku, Finland. So from the job wise, it was all pretty smooth. But as a researcher, the growth is limited, or say slow. So I wanted to pursue something that can help me speed up the life. So I didn't have any idea like what to do. My field was life sciences at that time, so anything you do in life science is a costly. You need licenses, you need permissions. So I wanted to figure out what can I do with my limited understanding of the softwares. So we have we live far away from our parents and in-laws. So we spend a decent amount of our salaries on conversations, this VoIP. So, and the same happens with many of the friends and families. Finland being a small country, what all the applications we used at the time, nothing belongs to Finland. Everything was from outside, Dellmont, some Ring Central or something. So then I thought, when we have this many people, why don't we try? So it was just a simple thought of trying. My background was research, so I thought, why don't I do some experiment in this case? So I got a loan from the local bank in Finland. That's how we started. And when we started, we don't know what is that software, how this technology works, what all is needed. We are really clueless. So I spent a decent amount of time understanding, the intricacies. When you don't know anything, you always try to look for some hand-holding. Who can help you lay that foundation and that kind of stuff. So I came across a couple of softwares. Many of those things were, they may be working fine, but as a VoIP user who doesn't understand the technology, they were all Greek and Latin to me. So that's how, when I came across the Columnsoft website, I approached you. We started the conversation. You have been very patient in helping me understand the components required. At the same time, you have proposed, the 2-month trial was really interesting. You lose nothing. You just pay the basic, and then you ask me to experience the kind of quality or the features of the software. That gave me a beautiful opportunity to experience. So that's how we started, and I have to say thanks to the team Colmisoft, who have been extremely patient with my questions, because I was a layman. I wasn't a telephony guy who understands what is a SIP protocol. I didn't know anything about that. So all the conversation, the hand-holding went non-technical. It was pretty smooth to understand how things work, what are the components. And then I came across one customer who was having difficulties in scaling up. With the help of Colmisoft and my trunk provider, we were able to offer them the best quality and help them scale up. So that's how the journey started, and that's how we have survived. That's how it is going.
Okay, good. So I have a couple of questions here. Now, basically, you felt a need from your own pain point, right? That you needed to call your family, and there was no application or local provider that would offer this. You mentioned you took a loan. So how did you know how much money you need and for what purpose? Did you need that money? And was that before or after you started the trial with Colmisoft?
I think I have taken the loan before I started with Colmisoft. So, everyone has some capacity of risking.
Yes.
Okay. So I had 5,000 euros, and the bank gave me 10,000 euros. So I have fixed my mind that, okay, this is the amount of money I will be risking. That's it. Not more than that. I have a
Did
clarity.
you still have your own job or did you leave?
I have my job. I
Okay.
had my job. I left my job in 2016, December.
Okay.
So that was like, that job was pretty safe, pretty good job at university. So with this, I wanted to start. I'm very clear about budgeting. So when I have something in my budget, I'm very much focused that not a single penny from outside comes into that, or that budget will be spent elsewhere. So whatever I have got it, I experimented with Colmisoft. We have developed a customer portal at the time. At that time, 10 years ago, having a customer portal with mobile apps was not a common thing. If somebody has a mobile app, they don't have a customer portal. If somebody has a customer portal, they don't have a mobile app. So we were niche player. I didn't realize that at the time. Only after conversations, with your team, I realized that, oh, there is a big gap in the market for this product or service.
Okay, so Kalyan, now you started the trial with Colmisoft, you started experimenting, understanding how it works and so on. And then you mentioned there was one client. So how did you manage to find this client? And how did you manage to convince this client to trust a new company that didn't have much experience back then?
It was quite simple, actually. Unplanned, actually. So when we start a business, vendors approach us, right? Interestingly, the salesperson of that vendor was very, very friendly. After a couple of months, I noticed that he left that job. Then I offered him something like, I'm starting this, I'm into this business, but I am unable to acquire customers. Will you be my partner? I'll give you, as and when we grow, from the leads you bring in, I'll give you some share. That's how it started. He was living in India. During my visit to India, I contacted him, and he was very helpful, I should say. He took me to a couple of prospects. Then I met the prospect. I explained what we can do. I don't know why he trusted us. I have no understanding.
You didn't ask, did you?
I just went there like any other salesperson. They said that, okay, we'll try, but no response for a couple of months. During that time, the person who helped me connect with them, he found some other job and he left. I myself started discussing like, is there any update? Is there any update? Then one day they wanted to try a new vendor because they were having problems with their.
It's not a secret. Do you remember what type of challenges did they experience? Because it seems that when they started experience these challenges, it was like a call to action to reach out to you because you had a solution for them.
They were also rapidly growing company. When me or anybody starts a company, we assume some scale, right? Within that scale, our infrastructure setup will be there, and they are actually growing fast. They were growing fast. It could be a bandwidth problem. It could be the quality of the routes the vendor was providing. That could be a problem because at that time, fast and voice breakage was major issue due to network things. And then I realized,
by the way, who don't know what FAS is, can you explain in a few words?
So it's a false answering. Some companies, to mint money, they will create a scenario where the call will be ringing, but actually it is not ringing. Or they will create a scenario where the call rings and then answers. It will be blank. Of course, the caller will obviously put down the phone, but even for a couple of seconds, he is on phone. So that's how companies earn, cheat customers.
Yeah.
So I think that was one of the reason why he was looking for a new vendor. And when he experienced our service, he was very much into it. Like the day he started, he was continuously using our service.
Okay.
He never went back. Of course, there were periods of turbulences in every business that we have also experienced, our customers have also experienced. But so far, our relationship or our service has been reliable for them.
So what type of clients did you decide to target? Because VoIP is a very broad business, right? And there are different types of customers. There are residential customers, travelers, expats, business customers, large corporate clients, and so on. What type of target audience did you decide to approach, and why?
So theoretically, when I have taken the Colmisoft platform, Colmisoft defines that this can be used for this business model, that business model. So there are tens of business models. I picked up the mobile app business model, but the day our mobile apps were ready, WhatsApp has come into picture, and nobody was in a mood to pay for any of these calling services. Then I decided I should shut my shop after 1 year. My 15,000 euros are gone. So I should shut my shop. Then
shop, was this like online shop?
It's not shop. It was remotely working. I'm just saying that my business, I decided to shut down the business. I think I have mailed either you or mid-August. Then we had a conversation about what I have developed. And after your team has looked at through it, you guys had a very good appreciation for what we have developed. and suggested that why don't I help Columnsoft customers in replicating these kind of applications, because your customers have business but not the technology or technical experience of mobile apps or customer portals, while we have already done that. We tried to pursue IT development in this context for a couple of months. It didn't work out. During this time, I also realized that B2B VoIP was still gaining grounds. So this
just now, okay, so you started with the mobile app, which was more like residential business, right? And at the same time, you had this bigger client, which was like a corporate client, right?
He came at the time when we have decided to
Later,
close.
yeah. And which year was that?
It was most likely 2016.
Okay, so basically 1 year after you started with VoIP, more or less, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so interesting. Yeah. So what was the switch? So you tried with the mobile apps, it didn't work. 15,000 euro were gone, right? You were basically at zero. And what has encouraged you to continue this business and see the opportunity?
So this customer came just in time
Okay.
before we do the official closing. Then I thought, okay, I have my job, the job. If the business sustains with the customer's revenue, let it run. Let it run. Why not? Why should we close when it has the potential to sustain itself? That was the basic understanding. And by the end of the year, I felt that it is doing good.
Just from this one client, right?
Yeah, from this one customer.
And what type of what is their profile?
So basically, they are a contact center customer who make calls across the world.
Okay.
Across the world. Typically, at that point in time, or even general VoIP businesses, most of the customers have a narrow requirement in the sense like they want to call India only, they want to call UK only, they want to call US only. So the projects were very much narrow focused. But this particular business model, the customer wanted across the world connectivity, where the providers were also not so many in the market at that time. And we were one among them. So that gave us an edge.
Okay. And so but with this one client, did you decide that, okay, it's fine, I will quit my job and I will focus on my business, or you still balanced the business and your job at that
No,
time?
by 2016, end of December, I have decided, let's continue this. See, I had to think like this. I have spent my career of so many years of education, and I have spent 2 years figuring out what to do. I felt the speed or the way this business has taken up, I felt it has more potential. I shouldn't say anything wrong about my current, the job at that time, but some things excite you. It's not just about money, or it's not just about the tasks you do, but the kind of independence, the kind of freedom, they also have a role to play. In other words, I'll tell you like this. We came to Finland as two people, wife and husband. I used to get the university contract as 6 months, 1 year, 6 months, 1 year. That used to irritate me. I have done, I'm a scientist. If this is the kind of uncertainty a scientist has to face at a university, how long? It doesn't help us to plan for a long term. Whereas I'll be a boss in the business, I'm my own boss. And if I have seen that I can get a good long-term contract, that itself saves me some money. For example, at least in the 5 years I was working, I might have renewed my contract, or say this resident permit 3 or 4 times. And I got this business, it was renewed once for 5 years.
Yeah.
So that kind of freedom was another kick, I got. I wasn't sure whether I will survive in the business or not, but I had to take some action.
Yeah.
Either I put my legs here and there in two boats, or just focus on one thing. So I felt this, let's do it.
Mhm.
It wasn't, nobody was encouraging me to take up this step, but I was a bit, call adamancy, or call very determined. People
Yeah,
can
you are a
see,
doer, right? You're a doer. You just
yeah,
do things and that's it. Because I have many, like quite often I get inquiries how to start a VoIP business. And then I check in our CRM, I see they asked the same question 10 years ago. After 10 years, they asked the same question and no progress. The most important is to take the action. Only then you can get
yeah.
results. And even
So,
your
yeah,
case.
one of the lesson you say, or one of the learnings I had at that time was, it doesn't matter if you fail. What matters is whether you have tried or not. We might fail. Not everyone will succeed at every thing we do. But the kind of learning that comes from, even if it is a failure, is tremendous. It it creates a path for the next success. That's what I believed. Uh, so I pursued, and it didn't disappoint me.
Yeah, and your story showed that first of all, you tried one business approach, right?
Yeah,
Working with mobile apps. Then you pivoted to a completely opposite side and dealing with the contact centers,
yeah,
selling call center traffic. So for those who are interested in starting a similar business, because nowadays it's quite often that VoIP providers, like part of VoIP providers, they focus only on call center traffic, because other VoIP providers, they don't want to go into this niche because it has a huge amount of calls, high CPS, and not all equipment can handle such traffic. Usually they try to avoid it. This is why there is a niche for someone. So if someone decides to go into that business, into selling traffic for contact center that call internationally or to specific destinations, so besides of platform like Columnsoft, SO Switch, what else do they need? Like dialer, right? Website and so on. So
okay,
can you give a broader picture? What tools do you need to run this
yeah.
business?
So even in the call center businesses, there are many segments. You call it, somebody is working for banking sector, financial sector, logistics sector, lead generation, or say some B2C sector. So there are 20 or 30 subsectors in the call center scenario. So when I say call center, the general understanding is not applicable to my customers.
Yeah.
My customers are not high CPS. My customers are not very low duration. My customers have an answer ratio of 80%, which is much higher than a B2C.
Mhm.
So this is a unique segment that remained, that was actually very unique. Whenever,
Within your segment, sorry.
yeah, within the contact center segment,
Mhm.
my customers form a unique subsegment. Their statistics doesn't match with the typical contact centers. These are having entirely different set.
Mhm.
Every call is manually triggered. No robocalling, no automation dialers. Every call is manually triggered. Every call is manually answered, and then there is a conversation.
Okay.
So it is a unique, and it's interesting for us.
So, for example, the audience that you serve, do they have their own like PBX and you provide them only with the SIP trunks and with the numbers, or there are some
It's a
other
mixed
tools besides?
kind. Some companies, they do have their own PBX. Some
Mhm.
companies, they don't want to bother about their, owning or managing the PBX. We serve both kind of customers. So from 2016 to 20, that was one era
Mhm.
where we were merely a SIP trunk provider. And Colmisoft, the more also offers some minimal PBX features. So some people also used to register on our servers and use it. While that was a good business, that wasn't assuring for us. Just because you need 3 parameters to move away from us to someone else. And it happened more or less twice or thrice. Our customers, tried to go away just because someone else was cheaper.
Mhm.
That was a commodity business, so people always compete in terms of pricing. What turned out to be very interesting is, because these calls are manually triggered and manually answered, variations in quality were felt by the people, the real people who are making calls. So the typical contact center routes were not fitting into their experience. So every time they have left, they came back within 2 weeks. So that created, a trust for them also. How long can a customer keep trying like this or keep fiddling? Why should he leave something that is working and explore something else, unless and until it is extraordinarily good? So we also then later many people have also given me like it's not just quality at the cost. We are more cheaper, or say we are more economical. When people compare the kind of outcome they have experienced with the kind of costs we charge them, they felt that we are cheaper than other players in the market.
Okay, so it's very good sign that even though this market is like commodity market and people left because of the price, but they tried something, they noticed that the quality isn't so good and they decided to come back. So it's really, really a good sign. It means that you are doing something good. So, Kalyan, you mentioned that you also developed a portal. So it looks like this portal is very important in this business, right? So it would be interesting if you could give some light here. Why did you decide that it is really important for your customers? How long it took to develop it? And in general, maybe you will be able to share how it looks like, what are the features and so on.
Yeah. So as I told you, pre-COVID was an era and post-COVID is different. Pre-COVID, as I told you, we were in a very fragile position. We don't know whether our customers will be with us or not, because everyone was working from their offices, recording the calls on their IBM or X slides. So they don't need us. They can go to anyone else. But come COVID, the offices had shut. But to run the business, people want centralized data management, access to various hierarchies, and security of the data, reliability of the data. That's when during the COVID, we also didn't have business for a couple of months. That's when I took another chance. I thought, okay, now we have this much of money. This much of I can spend this much only. So now the revenue is 0. Let me try this. So we started, we worked, we developed. So that gave access to various hierarchies in the company on the role-based access. If somebody want only the calls, yes, they have the calls. Somebody wants recordings, yes. Somebody wants financial data, yes. Somebody wants performance data, yes. So we have created this portal with a role-based access. Then I think the customers also developed trust because the role-based access also gives my customers access, which means they have a high trust that no recording was fiddled. They are directly accessing the recording from the vendor's portal.
Yeah.
So there used to be some kind of tricks agents used to play in terms of recording, fiddling, modifying. That was totally eliminated, and this increased the trust on the leads the customers generate. So that was one thing. We also developed a WebRTC based soft phone using a third-party service which sits on top of CallMeSoft. It's all going smooth. Now there is a lot of self-service, a great amount of knowledge base. We have added quite a lot of features, many features. They include agent management, IP restrictions, two-factor authentication, visualizing the audio, transcription, such kind of stuff. This is our customer portal. We have given various kinds of logins. This is the business admin login. This is the agent login, or say in Morse language, it is device. These teams are the accounts which have role-based access. Okay, so I will now log in as business admin and then give you some insights. So this is the two-factor authentication we have. Like the user will not be automatically logged in. He will have to open his mail and then verify. So this is basically log a calls page. This is a number search. One of the beautiful things we have given is, users can search up to 100 numbers in one go. Typically, any call history search is given for only one number. But here we have given that facility for 100 numbers, up to 100 numbers. This is typical, from date to date, and then status, outgoing, incoming, caller ID, display name, call disposition. Call disposition is something we have added on top of the calls page. This is a typical call history, nothing special. Maybe I'll show from January 1 to today. We give a lot of information. Recording is there. And then one of the beautiful thing we have given is this part. I'll explain you more here. We give call status code. Probably nobody gives. In my 10 years of experience, I have never seen anybody giving this. And this code gives us so much deeper insight. CallMeSoft also gives me. So I have got inspiration from there. So when somebody gives me this code, I was able to troubleshoot them instantaneously. Otherwise, if there is a failed call, we don't know why the call has failed. But given this code, like say busy19 or failed one, I was able to troubleshoot their issues super fast. And that is one factor why the customers trust us, because time is important for them. And with this, we are able to solve issues pretty fast. This is interesting. You would see, I don't know if this conversation has happened in English or my language. But if it has happened in English, I would be able to show more of that. So one of the feature is visualizing your audio. What happens in a contact center scenario, after the call was done, there is a QA process. Somebody has to vet or verify the conversation. As most of the calls are B2B, they first land on the IVR, and there will be periods of silence or music. Now, in the absence of that, they have to spend the whole time listening to the call. But with this visualization feature, they know exactly where this conversation has started. If it is an IVR, The IVR pattern is very easy to understand. It will be uniform periodic. It is a replicating units of waves. So whereas a human conversation has a different pattern. So people can selectively point their cursor and listen to that particular section only. This is one of the beautiful things we have given, and our customers have been using it very much.
It's very useful because it allows to save time.
Yes.
And for example, from this visualized audio, where does the IVR end from your?
There is no IVR. This is a complete
IVR.
human conversation.
Nice.
This is my account, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is my account and my conversation. So there is no IVR. And then we also give, speeding up the audio. For QA, time is important. They work on targets, like you have to qualify these many things. So the speed is important. We have given them. And then not many people use, but we have also given this transcription. We have integrated with a third party. So they offer the transcription for us based on the conversation. And we typically offer this transcription for calls that are longer than 1 minute.
Oh, interesting.
So we have this conversation here, I think, yeah. And then they can download and analyze if required. One can also search, where are all the hellos?
Yeah.
So they can search.
Okay, that's really interesting. Let's move on.
So this is one. And then this area is called call dispersion. So in a contact center, somebody, every call has to be marked, whether this is a success, failure, answered, unanswered, somebody has asked to call again or something like that. And then the QA will say this is qualified, disqualified. So let us say if this is somebody who wanted, or it's a success. So I'll simply select one of them, or simply I will say nobody is answering. Then, or someone has asked me, don't call me again. Then I'll select this DNC.
By the way, Kalyan, are these statuses, can they be added, expanded, changed depending on the customer, or this is like a broad thing for the whole market?
No, they can be customized. That
nice.
exists in the campaign section where people can customize the codes.
Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, this is the calls section. And then we have the dashboard section. Dashboard gives last 1 week data. This is my personal account, so you are not seeing much of the information here. Even if we consider, say, 18th to 25th. So it shows the regions where I call. They take.
We see that you called your parents, right?
Mostly, yes. So it gives us, the understanding where all the calls are happening. And then one can visualize this data, download as PDF or CSV or image as well. If somebody want to present this data as a report, they can get the image. They just want to see it. Yes, they can see it from here. The same, daily consumption in terms of, amount of money, daily call statuses, let us say.
And are these all graphs equally important for contact centers, or there is one particular graph that is used by contact centers the most often?
I would say they need more additional information, but which is not shared with us. All we get is the calls, right? The calls has very minimal information. So we are only displaying whatever is available with us. For example, here, the daily call status. Here, it will also display who actually called. And this, I believe, is most used thing. like I'm the only user and this is the calling pattern.
Okay, yeah, we can move on.
So we have a report section also where we also display data if the customer is sending the calls from his PBX, because user accounts are on the PBX, right? So in such a case, we differentiate or we extract data we receive and are also able to display whether it is from PBX or from the more. If it is coming from the PBX, what is the internal display names they have used? We are able to do that. Our customers, PBX customers, use it a lot. There is no data. You won't find any data here. Something.
Okay.
This is the agent section where we have given a lot of flexibility for the business admin. For example, these passwords are here hidden. Caller IDs are there. The IPs from which the customer is connecting is there. We can activate, inactivate at the click of a button. Another important thing, or say very interesting that we have developed is this one. We are currently using a third-party application. Most of the time, our customers uses the call connectivity for a business goes down when their calls are using spam caller IDs. So they can check from here. It works beautifully for US caller IDs, or say. So let me click and show you.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. So it goes into this application. This works mostly in US, and at least in US, my number is having a positive reputation and nobody is blocking my account.
Okay, so basically this robot killer, it stores huge data of caller IDs and it checks whether it can be marked as spam or not in the particular in the USA, right?
Yes, every country have their own application. For example, in India, it is Truecaller. Almost every phone has a Truecaller application in India. In US, I think RoboKiller is a majorly used application. I don't say that it is the only application, but majorly.
It looks like they need to check themselves whether whether their caller ID is marked as spam or not by clicking, but it doesn't show the status online, right? For example, if it is marked as spam, this blue button could be like red. If it is allowed, it could be green, something like this. They still need to,
Yes, but
right?
so what we wanted to do is the easiest and simplest way. If at all we have to display that, we need a third-party APIs where we can check it. Instead, we are taking the user onto the website itself, where that I felt was more trustworthy, because we are not an expert in defining what is spam and what is not spam. So we have adopted this approach. And then for the DIDs, we are using a third-party service where a customer can trigger, they can buy or visualize the existing DIDs in their account. For example,
so they can even buy a DID number directly from this account, right?
Yes, they can. For example, they can select, say, Arkansas, or maybe I'll show you California, because most of the numbers in California will always be marked spam. San Francisco, or yeah. It is a positive, but it has been reused. This number was reused.
Okay.
So similarly, it is a good number. Typically, every second number from San Francisco becomes a spam number.
Okay.
That was my experience, but it seems fine now. Okay. Anyway, next is.
So by the way, this is integrated through Stripe, right?
Purchase?
Yeah, purchase.
No, purchase happens from the balance.
Okay, good.
Purchase happens from the balance, but DIDs are displayed from a third party.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. And then we have this section called Teams. This is entirely our own module. So where we offer the customers to create multiple roles. For example, somebody needs QA, somebody needs tester. They can define role with access. For example, this user has only calls view. This user has many permissions, view campaigns. So, okay. So one can define by creating a role. So the role also happens like this. You define the role name and then define the modules and select the permissions you need. For example, in the calls also, we have given like view only call history, view call recording, view the call cost, block the downloads. So we can, granular permissions can be given from here. And then once the role is set, one can create a team member. So team member will be, it also shows what kind of permission it has been assigned. So QA role, and QA role has access to calling view.
Okay, quite straightforward.
And then teams also. Teams is where we can club agents and team members to create teams. Yeah. Another section we have is campaigns. Campaigns is where customer can upload the data and the numbers will become clickable. We have integrated a WebRTC soft phone. Upon clicking, we can simply start the campaign. So this is only a C only visualization. This is a dummy data. Where this number is ready, and if I click, it should trigger the soft phone here. So for example, if this is the soft phone, it will log in and then the call will happen directly from the customer portal. So
this is your own developed software, right?
Yes, this is our own developed software. For example, now I'm logged in and I click, the call will start from here.
Okay.
So this is one thing we have. We have multiple types of soft phones. Browser-based, CRM integratable, separate standalone web page. All of them are helping our customers.
So basically, if they want to create their own campaign, they just need to upload their like numbers plus some data, right?
Yes.
Address, name, and so on, and they can dial directly from this portal.
Yes.
Okay.
So I don't have any payments, but otherwise one can visualize the payments from this account. If I have any subscriptions, they are also visible, and call rates are also visible. This is a direct integration with CallMeSoft. They can be searched. Then we have a module, DNC. This is integrated with the CallMeSoft number pools module. Yeah. So where one can create number pools and assign it so that call origination or termination can be stopped from here.
It's basically like a blacklist, right?
Yes. Blacklist. Our customers use it as a blacklist and as a caller IDs also. Yeah. And then we have something called public URL. It is interesting. If let us say somebody is having an office, people are working in multiple rooms and they want to have a centralized data display. This can be done as a boost. How is the work today going? Yeah. So if somebody copies that URL and runs it, this is a simple screen show. It will continuously keep updating every 15 minutes. Okay. And then all downloads will be visible here. What we do is customer can trigger the download. We queue them and the data is here. These are our apps. Right now, Windows Chrome plugin and browser apps are available with us.
And what type of apps are these?
Sorry?
What type of apps are these? What do they do?
Currently, our live apps are WebRTC based.
Okay.
WebRTC based. I think it is called PWC or something. I don't understand that technology, but yes, it is a WebRTC based app.
But basically the app, because here what I can see, download. So this is basically for initiating the calls, right? Like a soft.
For example, if I click
dial.
here, so this is our dialer page,
Yeah.
standalone dialer or
Yeah.
soft phone that works. And this Chrome plugin is very interesting. It identifies phone numbers on a page and makes them clickable.
Oh, nice.
And then when somebody clicks, the soft phone will show up and then call happens. So if somebody is on their contact us page and then activates this plugin, the phone number will become clickable. For example, this one.
Yeah.
I activate. So this is now clickable. When I click it, I don't know if you are seeing it, but there is a pop-up here that has shown up.
I cannot see it, but I get the idea.
Yeah.
Just in some cases, I guess you will need to add a prefix, right? Just depending.
Yes. And then these are all simple things like settings. We have, Chrome plugin needs some, protocol name.
Yeah.
We can define the protocol name here. And we also have some people want to capture the data, call history in their own server. So we also have webhook settings where the system will automatically push the call history data to their servers. We have the IP restriction where we can restrict the access to the portal and our soft phone to IPs, limited IPs, so that people outside those IPs are unable to access. Okay. And then recently we have launched it. We are very glad that working with CallMeSoft has been very fruitful, just because we have excellent uptime. So,
and you display this publicly to your customers.
Yes, we display this publicly, and this data currently what you're seeing is 90 days data.
Okay, interesting. I noticed, that other customers, especially software as a service companies, also offer like these status pages.
Yeah, and it's very rare to see telephony companies. Only the billion-dollar companies like Twilio or Plivo display. But we are glad that our cooperation with all our partners is working great.
Okay, interesting. And yeah, go ahead.
Please ask.
Yeah, I wanted to ask about this portal. Do you use it only for your own purposes and to serve your clients, or would you also be willing to sell this? Like, for example, imagine some startup like you, right? Decides to start his own contact center business, maybe in a bit different area. And he sees, hey, like you have the portal, you have everything you need. Most probably you spend tens of thousands of euros to develop it, plus a lot of time. I would be interested in having it for some monthly fee or something like this. So is this portal for sale, or do you use it only for your own purposes?
This was actually developed with that concept in mind. If somebody wants, we can offer the portal as a theme. But okay, because everything is modular, any telecom operator can easily adapt to this portal because this front end is different. The backend APIs are different. Basically, CallMeSoft is linked to the backend APIs. So if they use CallMeSoft, all we have to do is do some changes. It gets linked. But I think it's not very straightforward because big integration with the database happens. So I'm not sure if users will be comfortable to provide access to host the database separately and then provide access for us to integrate. If that is the case, we can very much do it. But one should keep in mind that this is not a product that once you buy and it will work forever. It's not like that. The technology changes, more and more cybersecurity threats come into picture, and sometimes the performance issues might arise based on the server hardware, or maybe the version got deprecated. So one needs to give, maintain the software as well.
Yeah.
And any software, you pick up any software, it comes at a price. This is not a product that, buy once and it will work forever.
Yeah, but obviously, if you, because I noticed that those who decide to start VoIP business, there are usually two types of people. There are like more commercial people who want to focus on sales, on marketing, and so on. And there are more technical people who focus on technology. So if there is a person with his sales skills and with the business development and so on, he just needs to have a product that works and focus on reaching out to prospective customers, closing deals, and so on. So would you be willing to work with such clients and maybe charge them like a monthly fee for such product where they could upload their own logo, their own brand colors, have their own custom domain?
Yes, we have that. The portal is very much capable of doing that. I'll show also the admin side of the portal, where things are so easy to play with. Okay. And another important thing, the last thing I would show is testing the customer's own network. So what used to happen is, most of the time, customers complained the provider saying that voice break is happening, something is happening, something is happening. But then they don't understand that it is not always the customer vendor. The problem is at the vendor. The problem happens with the internet network also, and with the routers also, with the customer's own place also. There is what they do is, everyone, they used to call me and say that, okay, we have a 20 Mbps, we have a 200 Mbps, we have a 100 Mbps. But the voice break is happening. I had to tell them that having the bandwidth is not enough. It is like having a highway, access to a highway with full of potholes. What one need to analyze is, how is the quality of the network? And we have, for the first time, I believe there are no free tools in the market, but ours is a free tool that can help customer analyze the quality of his network by simply making a test call. So for example, if I click here, this test lasts for 30 seconds. Basically, a call is happening in the backend.
This is ULaw. After the beep, record your test message and then press pound.
So this is a test happening in the backend. We just need to wait for 30 seconds. Then it will analyze the network and display the quality of the network.
And does it call it's to test internal network, so it doesn't matter what destination is, right?
It is a destination we have fixed.
Okay.
So basically, the MOS value is 4.3, which is excellent. The latency is this. Our servers are in Germany, so you are seeing this latency, and then packet loss is 0, and then this. So with whatever is the problem, we'll be able to say, okay, packet loss 1%, you will experience breakage. Latency is high, you will experience one talking on another. Jitter is this, okay. Otherwise, sometimes words are coming fast, sometimes the conversation is slow. So we'll be able to identify the issues in no time using this tool.
But for
And this is
example, if the
around,
problem is with your client's internet, for example, right?
yeah.
How can you help them troubleshoot this problem if it is
So,
their
yeah, when somebody says internet, there are majorly these three things happen. Okay, due to whether it is a latency issue or the congestion issue that leads to packet loss or the jitter issue. Basically, VoIP or telephony is affected by these three parameters. So we'll be able to define them, what could be the issue, if they can restart their router, or if they need to speak with their ISP, or it is a, during some special occasions like a new year, everyone will be on call, or during a cricket match, or say these major matches. If the same office network is also playing that live stream along with the calling, they are bound to happen. So we'll be able to define probably, please check this, please check that.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Really useful.
Yeah. So,
yeah. Okay, if there is something to add, you can add.
So this is from the customer point of view. Okay. Now let us check from the admin point of view. Admin means the portal admin. So what you have asked is what kind of customization is possible, right? So we have a lot of customization. We offer, analysis from the admin as well, monitoring the active calls, and then website related information like privacy policy. And then these are some settings. For example, how many free agents should be allowed, what is the test balance, or say the payments. We also offer payments on the portal. So what is the amount? You can integrate with any third-party card system. That can be, simply copy paste and then use it. Mail settings, API configuration, invoices, and then app settings. The soft phone, what kind of codec should be allowed in the WebRTC. This is also capable of multilingual languages. All you have to do is download the translation file, add language, add the specific language, and then upload. That's it. And then log status is there. Team login. Okay. What I was trying to show you is the customization. Yeah, we can, email customizations are there. And then mails, one can write to support emails. That is also possible. We have partners, where partners can be shown here. Yeah, a lot of customization is possible.
Okay, interesting, really interesting, because from my experience, I know that building these portals is a big headache. It requires like a lot of time, a lot of money, a lot of dedication. So using something that already works is really useful.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will also leave your contact details at the end of this video, so someone could approach you for that.
Yes.
Now, in general, just talking about your business, can you share some numbers that are not confidential? For example, how many minutes do you terminate per month?
Minutes, maybe 1 million or 2. It's not a big number. Frankly speaking, other operators may not feel this is a tiny baby business. 2 million minutes we are able to terminate as of now.
And okay, so 2 million minutes. And what does it mean for VoIP business in general? Are you happy with your current status? Do you see a potential to grow here?
There is a lot of potentials. Actually, we are underutilizing our resources. We are underutilizing the resources. I think the kind of setup we have, it can simply handle very conveniently the double amount of minutes we have.
So what is your bottleneck at this stage of your business?
This is a volume business, right? Volume business, commoditized business, one has to be actively in the market, going around the customers and pitching and doing that, which I have a feeling like we are not good marketers. We are good in terms of serving the customers. Our customer support is great. Our quality is great. The relationship building is great, but we are not good marketers or good sales people. That's why our growth has been 99.9%. It has been organic growth. When I say organic, somebody has used our service and they refer us to someone else, or somebody who was working at a company has left and went to a new company. So when they have a problem, they remember that, okay, we have used Moitele, it was working great, let's go there, or let's check up with them. So our growth is entirely organic.
Okay, so if someone who watched this video, they have the access to the contact center decision makers, for example, in certain India regions, they would like to get into VoIP business, but they don't want to deal with the technology. Do you offer some type of reseller access where they could work like on commission basis?
Yes. We have something called a partner module where they can bring the customers and we assign the customer under them. So that has been working for some people.
Okay, so it's interesting because if the bottleneck is related with the sales, I'm sure that there are some sales people who would be interested working on a commission basis, like the one that you found in the beginning, right? He helped you to bring some clients.
Yeah.
So if someone is interested to have a good technological partner, and from my side, I can assure that Kalyan is really serious. He's very responsive and he's very different because he always responds. He always follows up if there is a need. And all the customers that I have introduced to Kalyan, he was always keeping me in the loop about the progress. He always suggests to have a call, discuss requirements, so on. So it's really, I think it's worth working with him. So now, Kalyan, for example, those who are interested in starting this similar business, what advice could you give them for you? And what challenges should they expect in the beginning of their business?
Typical business challenges. Say when we start, we don't, I don't know, it also comes with who is starting, what kind of experience they have, what kind of knowledge they have. So for somebody who is looking towards my scale of business, or maybe double or triple or even 10x of my business, I have found Callmesoft supporting, or say the software is very much capable of that. Only problem comes when there is a high CPS, which more is, the products are not able to handle. If at all they handle, in case of M4, then it is unable to provide recording. So nowadays, any contact center, they need a call recording facility. More offers, but no CPS. M4 doesn't offer, but high CPS. So this combination is, missing.
Yeah.
And the other thing I would say is nowadays it's the time of WebRTC. I have managed because I didn't want to go elsewhere. But if this is the case, it always happens that nowadays everyone needs when they start a business, they need to understand what are all the components required, and those components, they have to figure out whether the software of their choice supports or not.
Okay, and where do you see VoIP business is going, particularly in your sphere?
there will always be part of the business that is that we lose. There is always a part of business we gain. So as of now, it is a balancing, but the future, with the generative AI, I'm a bit clueless because people are not needed, or at least I would say it can manage. So when things are things transform into that, of course, it might happen in the next 5 years or 10 years. But when that happens, where do we stand? That's a question to me as well.
Yeah, so maybe instead of the real people, artificial intelligence will start calling people if
Yeah.
it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, good. And last thing, where can people find more information about you? What's the best way to approach you if they want to work with you, if they are interested in a portal of yours, or if they want to become your client?
So I would say the best person is you. We always tend to have one question: who is this guy contacting us? Okay. So we tend to have so many questions, doubts, reliability, all that. But when you refer me or when somebody comes through you, I'm like, okay, it's already screened. This person is okay, qualified by Villiers, so I need not give so much thoughts. The discussion directly goes to technical.
Okay.
So I would say you are the first person, and then they can approach me through you.
Okay, so basically I will be your lead qualification manager, right? They are qualified, I will pass them to you. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay, but anyway, we will also add a link to your website, maybe to your LinkedIn profile. I see that from time to time you post some interesting information on LinkedIn, so they could at least follow you just to see what's happening. Okay, good, Kalyan. So thanks a lot for your time. We'll be in touch. Thanks for sharing all this information. I'm sure it will be really useful for other people.
Yeah. Thank you, Villiers, for giving me this opportunity. And it has been 9 years. Yes, it's almost a decade. I never realized that I have been into this business so long. And thanks to Team Call Me Soft, you, Mindaugas, you have been, I have thought about, I should find an alternative or something. But when I share or when I discuss with you guys, you have always helped me with some or other solution. That's the best part. So, the relationship has been very good for me.
Yeah, thank you for your kind words.
Thank you. Bye.